a little so I can get my stripper in here, and we use one of these.
Okay. And so today we're at the Snapperific Canvas Stretching Technology Center at Odenton, and we have George here actually stripping.
How you doing?
He's actually stripping a photograph, off of the photographic paper as part of the canvas stretching process.
As you can see, I did it. I ran it down, and I'll do it again to make sure it's definitely loosened up where I can peel this off. I normally do it very slow. If I feel a part of it that's starting to get kind of snug, I don't want to rip the emulsion. So, and it sort of looks like that. That's not ripped. It's just where it's got to peel it off later. But you can feel how thin it is.
Wow.
And that's how it has to be so that it will take the canvas texture.
Okay.
As you can see right here.
Gotcha.
So once this is done, I have to tape it down. I'm going to use masking tape. I tape the corners to hold it. Now comes where I strip it off. It's just old. So what you have to do is place this pretty well even horizontal with the edge and roll it onto the tape so it sticks to the bar. And then place this one in behind, keep even pressure, push together.
Wow.
Okay, and then as I push forward, it starts to lift the backing right off. And there you go.
Oh wow, well, that's pretty cool.
Sometimes once you put this glue on and it starts to dry, the paper starts to crinkle, so it keeps it even. So I have to turn it over. Do I know these people? And I'm going to start at this end first since it's not folding up. Make it easier for me. And then I have to tape it again. I have to do all four. And then you have to lift these edges up. Sometimes you have to be careful because it can rip the canvas. And I normally will, if it does slightly on the edge, I have to fix that after it's glued. And sometimes a marker will work. And you won't even notice once it's embedded in the press with the canvas texture.
Wow.
And if it does and I don't like it the way I want it to look, I'll get them to do whatever and start over. So. And this is how it looks to be glued. Okay.
Okay. All right. So now that we've had it taped down, what are we about to do now?
Glue it.
Glue
this is laminol glue. It normally comes in gallon jugs, and you got to divide it between two. In other words, half a gallon each.
Okay.
And then you have to mix 6 ounces of water with each half a gallon. Put a little bit on there. And I start spreading it.
Cut it out on the vinyl cutter.
So you always lift the actual emulsion off of the paper.
It has to be pulled off, yes. For all of them. So what I'll do is I'll look at it and then I'll let it dry. When it's dry for about an hour, I'll come back and see if there's any. You can see it's real shiny. If you really miss the spot, if I soak too much into your emulsion, it'll leave like a dull look compared to the rest of it. So.
Okay.
So once that's over, then I have time to make my stretcher. So now I'm going to square it, square the corners. I normally do just the two ends. Both sides so it don't move on me. One of these pieces might be big enough. So what I got to do is, since it's an 8 by 10, I normally have to have roughly 2.5 inches on each side to wrap around the stretcher frame. So you're talking adding 5 inches to it. So it's going to be, 8, which would be what, 12 or 13 by 15, in order for it to stretch around the stretcher pretty well. And this has got a thick thread. See this thick thread? That I would throw away. I don't go for that.
Okay.
I don't like it. Alright, let me see if I got enough. I'm checking it for thick threads. Normally, if I get a small one, you can actually hammer them in.
Okay.
With a flathead screwdriver, just lay it right on there and just tap it a little, and it'll push it right down in there where it won't show up. But if I get some that I think are a little too thick, because you can't be actually, can't get a perfect one every time you order them from these companies, because that's stated in our book. But I pretty much can get rid of them. I'll throw this thing away. I don't like that. I pretty much try to get the lines of the canvas to run perpendicular with the edges of the print. Nobody wants a canvas hanging on the wall. That's me. You see, as I'm pulling it at an angle, because it's best that way. You're pulling away so that it won't rip it, because they're very easy to rip. Once they're stripped this thin, I can see right here there's a slight one, but I can be able to push that together. Open this up. You want to see it before it's put in the press. There's really no texture. See how it's sticking.
Right.
So all I have to do is pull my pad out. And I put it in face down. Stick lines on it. Get my pad. And this has been on all day, but I know it's up past 210, so it has to be that temperature. I put the pressure all the way up, past 100. It'll read 80, but it's actually 100. Make sure it's on 5 minutes. Now we gotta wait 5 minutes.
5 minutes, alright.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll be back 5 minutes.
Okay.
Alright, so we're back.
Yeah. Pull it off and let it cool. Take a look at it, you can see the texture in it.
Nice.
And let me get the stretcher.
Very cool.
Get it to work.
So it looks like you got an artist palette here.
Yes. Spot tone. Like I said, sometimes they'll rip and then you have to get one done over. Okay. So what I do is I get it started at one end, I'm undoing is like placing about enough to hold it there to get it stretched. Bring it over to my stretcher. It was like shark teeth, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I place it in. Slowly release the pressure on it. The other side of the other way. And wait till I get the other end done. So I'm just literally going around, turning it around, slapping my machine, releasing the pressure, because you don't want it too tight and you don't want it too loose.
Mm-hmm. What happens if it's too tight or loose?
If it's too tight, you can rip the emulsion while you're stretching it.
Oh.
If it's too loose, it'll
bolt.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's got to be in between.
Gotcha.
And see, they printed the print a little too big. They came to me first and asked about that. But that's all right. I have ways of ways. You can feel it, you know, that if it's going to be too tight or, you know, it's going to rip. As you can see, it's not ripping, so we're pretty good. And what I'll do is, once I do this side, I take these out. So I cut my edges. A lot of people don't do it this way, but I find it's better. Pull on it.
And there's the finished product.
Am I shaking? Do you want me to set it down?
No, thanks, George. We appreciate that. That was awesome.
It's nice. It's what they used to use to do blend in eye bags, and that showed up on the image.
We used to do a lot of used to do the eye work too, where you had to flex in the irises. That was one thing I always loved. That was awesome.
Yeah. You can tone them down or put them in. You could either do either way. Use some opaque and put a little eye catch in, catch light, and that'll be it. You know.
Yeah, that was awesome. I always loved that.
Now, all the computers are doing everything. You know? My daddy loves me. I'll put a coat of spray on it for you.
So this is the final step where we actually
yeah.
lustre spray it
Lustre spray.
in a highly ventilated room. I guess you'll have a good time if you stayed here. I know. I feel a little happier.
A girl come here and she shut that door. And you can't do that with this on. Okay? So when they opened the door to warn her, her hair was flying toward the spray booth. It's amazing. I normally do one coat, I let it dry, and then I put another one.
Okay.